The rain in East London that morning felt like it had something to say. It was the kind of drizzle that seeped into your bones, the kind that made the already grey streets feel even more forgotten. Down a narrow alley between crumbling brick buildings, a boy in a worn-out hoodie maneuvered his old, squeaky wheelchair over the uneven pavement. His name was Ayaan Malik, 15 years old, born in London to immigrant parents who had left their homeland with dreams too heavy for the fragile boat they sailed in on. Ayaan's left leg had been amputated when he was 8, after a car accident on Whitechapel Road. Since then, the chair had been his legs, his burden, and, though he didn't like to admit it, sometimes his prison. His father had died a year later, and his mother, a cleaner at a hotel, worked double shifts to keep their tiny one-bedroom flat warm through the winters. But Ayaan had something no poverty, no disability, and no London rain could take away from him, his voice. When he sang, the world seemed to pause. The background noise of life, sirens, gossip, arguments, would soften, as if the universe itself leaned in to listen. It was a gift he had never fully understood but one he cherished. That morning, he was on his way to the Royal Stratford Theatre for the open auditions of Britain's Brightest Voices. It wasn't just any talent show, winning meant a record deal, enough prize money to change his and his mother's life forever. But Ayaan wasn't thinking about the fame. He was thinking about the new wheelchair his mother could finally buy, the surgery she could afford for her aching back, maybe even moving to a flat with no mold on the walls. He rolled into the theater, soaked and shivering, but the moment he entered the grand hall, the warmth of the lights and the smell of freshly polished wood seemed to wrap around him. Contestants bustled about, hair sprayed, suits pressed, makeup perfect. Ayaan glanced at his reflection in the polished floor. Frayed hoodie, faded jeans, trainers with holes. He looked like he didn't belong. A tall man with a clipboard stopped him. Name? Ayaan. Ayaan Malik, he said, his voice quiet. You're number 247. They'll call you. Good luck, mate, the man replied, though his tone carried the unspoken doubt that many before him had shown, a look that said, You're here. Really? In the waiting area, Ayaan spotted a little girl no more than 8, sitting alone, clutching a violin almost as big as she was. Her lip trembled as she whispered into the phone, Mom, I don't think I can do this. Something in her voice reminded Ayaan of himself, small, scared, yet holding on to a fragile dream. He wheeled over and said, Hey. You play violin? She nodded, not looking up. My mum says music's like telling a story without words, Ayaan said. When you play, just tell them your story. Don't think about the judges. Think about the first person you ever played for. Play for them. She gave him a timid smile. Who do you sing for? My dad, Ayaan replied softly. Even though he's not here anymore. Before long, his number was called. The stage was enormous, the bright lights blinding. He could barely make out the faces of the 4 judges seated behind the desk. Among them was Eleanor Hart, Britain's most feared talent critic, known for her sharp tongue and colder heart. The audience was a sea of strangers, murmuring, some visibly surprised to see a boy in a wheelchair rolling toward the microphone. What's your name, dear? Eleanor asked, her tone polite but distant. Ayaan Malik. And what will you be singing for us today? Somewhere Over the Rainbow, he replied. A ripple went through the audience. It was a classic, but also a dangerous choice. Everyone knew it. Few could make it fresh. Eleanor leaned forward. And why this song? Ayaan took a deep breath. Because it's about hope. About believing that no matter how gray your skies are, there's a place where things are better. My mum always says that even if you can't walk there, you can still sing your way there. There was a pause. Then the quiet strum of the piano began. Ayaan closed his eyes. The first note that left his lips was soft but pure, carrying the ache of years he'd lived in shadows. His voice was unlike anything the hall had heard that day, gentle yet powerful, fragile yet unbreakable. Every word was painted with longing, every rise and fall of his tone echoing his journey from hospital beds to cold nights in council flats. Halfway through, something happened. In the second verse, his voice cracked, not from a mistake, but from emotion. He wasn't just singing the song, he was living it. He saw his father's face in the hospital, his mother's tired smile as she came home after midnight, the little girl clutching her violin. By the time he hit the final, "Why, oh why, can't I?" the theater was silent. Not a cough, not a whisper. When the last note faded, the quiet was broken by a roar of applause that shook the walls. Eleanor Hart, the critic who never cried, was wiping her eyes. "Ayaan. I've judged thousands of singers in my life. You just reminded me why I started this job. That wasn't just a performance. That was a gift." The other judges were equally moved. One of them slammed the golden buzzer, sending gold confetti raining down on Ayaan. The crowd leapt to their feet, chanting his name. But Ayaan's eyes weren't on the judges or the glittering ceiling. They were on the little girl in the wings, her eyes wide and shining. He wheeled himself over, took off the golden buzzer badge the stage crew had just pinned to him, and handed it to her. "This is for you," he said. "So you remember, you can do it too." She clutched it like treasure, tears spilling down her cheeks. "But you won." "We both did," he said with a smile. Backstage, reporters swarmed him, microphones outstretched. "Ayaan, how does it feel to win the golden buzzer? What will you do next?" He thought for a moment. "I'll keep singing. Not for fame, but so people know that even if life takes away your legs, your dreams can still run faster than anything." That night, as he and his mother made their way home through the rain, she held his hand tightly. "Your dad would be proud," she whispered. Ayaan looked up at the cloudy London sky. Somewhere, beyond the drizzle and the cold, there had to be a rainbow. And maybe, just maybe, he'd already found it.